Hey, pretty babies, what is going on? Lee Sanders here, checking out the RCWR show. So, look, literally, NXT Takeover 36 went off the air. I don't even think it's been 90 seconds yet. So, we're going to start in just about a couple of minutes. Give everybody a chance to maybe freshen up a little bit, maybe go grab a quick bite to eat or maybe grab a quick drink and all that. Hey, look, at least this was shorter than, and look, when you know by now, when it comes to the NXT TakeOver events, you know by now, guarantee, no matter how long a WrestleMania will be or Survivor Series or any one of those major other pay-per-views, you know by now that when it comes to NXT TakeOvers, it's pretty much in and out, and you're good to go. So look, the fact that it ended at such a decent time tonight, and it's a Sunday, we're going into Monday, that's good, right? So, I mean, you can't really complain whatsoever. Not really. You really can't. You just be nitpicking, honestly. But like I said, we're going to give everybody just a couple of minutes, get themselves nice and freshened up, grab a bite to eat, maybe use the bathroom or whatever, and we'll start in like about 3 minutes, give or take. So it's the 32-minute mark right now. I think if we just go, I'd say 35-minute mark, that should give people more than enough time. We can go ahead and officially start the show and all of that. But I'm very curious, what did you guys overall think about tonight's NXT TakeOver event? I'm most curious. Definitely sound off and let me know, because I definitely want to know you guys' thoughts. So the way we're doing the next couple of shows, we began, what was it? My shows are so mixed up now. You guys got to forgive me. I believe we officially started on Saturday's SummerSlam show, right? We started officially with the SummerSlam show. Now, when we're live, if you want to be able to interact with me and everybody else that's live during the streams initially, now you must be a subscriber. That is the only way you're going to be able to interact with me and the rest of the community here. So that's our way of combating against the trolls and all that. It's kind of interesting too, because I actually had a couple of people reach out to me, because there was a couple of people that actually had saw the Friday night show we did covering AEW Rampage and all. And they said, Lee, look, why don't you just go on ahead and activate your subscriber only mode? And I said, I kind of thought about that, but I wasn't trying to hinder listenership and all that in any type of way. And they told me, no. That is why activating subscriber only mode is there. It's there so that you can do a better job in moderating and all of that. It takes such huge pressure and headaches off of your shoulders. Go ahead and activate it. So we activated it on the SummerSlam post show, and everything had ran rather smooth, I gotta say. And not for nothing, ever since we activated it, people have felt actually more inclined to subscribe and all that. So we're trying it out for the next batch of weeks of the shows, that subscriber mode only. Now look, that ain't no paywall joint. I do want to stress that for those of you that's tuning in, you may be new, you have not subscribed yet. I mean, it's not behind a paywall. All you gotta do is just hit the subscribe button, and then you're pretty much locked in, ready to go and all that. So I mean, you can't beat that. I don't think that's really asking for too much. After all, at the end of the day, we're providing cool ass content for you guys to check out and all that. All right, so we got the 35-minute mark right now. So I think on that note, we can just officially go on ahead and start NXT TakeOver 36. This is your pay-per-view recap. Welcome one, welcome all. Lee Sanders here. You're checking out the RCWR show for Sunday night of August 22nd, 2021, covering all things wrestling, entertainment, and beyond since 2011. And we're talking about NXT TakeOver 36. What a great bookend to a solid week in professional wrestling. This is going to be one of the most historic moments in wrestling that we will be talking about for many years to come, right down to the point when you just look at the respective month of August 2021 alone, It will be one that us wrestling fans will be talking about for many years to come. I would imagine journalists as well that happen to follow the sport of professional wrestling. They definitely are going to be looking back in the analytics of time on this particular period and say, yeah, this was very, very significant what all had came about during the month of August from these respective promotions. And I know that right now what's pretty popular on social media, we've got people that's essentially, oh, well, this was better than this and this was better than that and AEW was better than. Can we all just be in agreement that in 2021, this is such a awesome ass time to be a wrestling fan, because there really is no winners and losers in this situation. It doesn't matter about AEW or, who wins overall. The wrestling fans, the wrestling community, the wrestling industry as a whole, thriving better than ever. You can actually feel that heartbeat again. And I'm telling you, the bookend that we got tonight with NXT Takeover, I mean, from top to bottom, from the opening of the Takeover to the end of Takeover, just from top to bottom, everything very solid, nice, good icing on the cake for everything that has happened within the past week and a half, going on 2 weeks. And look, we still got another week of pro wrestling to go, because don't forget, this coming weekend, we've got NWA Empower, NWA's first ever women's pay-per-view event. And then less than 24 hours after that, we've got the NWA 73 pay-per-view anniversary event. Oh, great time, man. Great time to be a fan. So I want to kind of switch it up a little bit in regards to doing the pay-per-view recap. I definitely want to just give you all my overall thoughts about the pay-per-view, but I'll also talk about the matches as well and everything. Look, we got a new NXT World Heavyweight Champion in Samoa Joe. I talked about this many weeks back. If you guys recall, shout out to you longtime listeners as well. I said to you guys, just looking at this story arc right now, considering everything that Samoa Joe and storyline did to get into a position where he could fight for the NXT championship. I said to you guys, to have Samoa Joe come up short, that would just be a bit baffling. Even if you were going to maybe involve some type of controversy, that would still just be a bit baffling. Now, I got to admit to you guys, as I was watching the final moments of Joe Kross, part of me was thinking, is it possible that maybe, just maybe, Scarlett could come out of nowhere here? We've been fiending. We've been thirsty for some Scarlett. We missed Scarlett by the side of Karrion Kross. Is it possible that maybe we'll get her in this match? Because it was looking as though if there was ever an opening for some type of shenanigans, it was definitely in this match, but it did not happen. So just kind of thinking about that, and then just thinking about even further some of the things I had talked about off and on the past couple of weeks. Samoa Joe steps down in storyline as co-general manager for NXT, then wants to be reactivated as a member of the NXT roster. So he wants to be an in-ring competitor again, and he wants to have a match against Karrion Kross. Oh, by the way, and it's for the NXT championship. With so much that's on the line, when you just really think about all the sacrifices that Samoa Joe essentially made to get his hands on Karrion Kross, to come out of TakeOver empty-handed, you're just going, now granted, some of you may have said to yourself, well, no, if not a Scarlett, he's definitely got some unresolved issues. He's definitely got some beef. He made some waves in the weeks that he was part of NXT upper management in Adam Cole, definitely Johnny Gargano. Is it even possible that one of those guys, and you could also throw in Scarlett, is it possible that somebody in there got a bone to pick with him, a serious bone to pick with him, and is looking for a little bit of retribution here. Yeah, there definitely was the opening, but the way that they just did this tonight, I mean, it was just essentially a definitive, this is it. I mean, look at that finish to that match, too, by the way. No controversy whatsoever. I think that was very, very important. And I really hope that people that talk about this pay-per-view tonight, I really hope they highlight that point, that there was no controversy from either side going into this matchup. Even when you went down to the final few minutes of this match, no controversy whatsoever. This was a definitive, this is it. It would be really, really hard for me to see a Karrion Kross Samoa Joe 2 after the events that had came about tonight. It really just felt to me, honestly, I don't know how it felt to you guys, but I'm most curious, so definitely sound off, especially you Karrion Kross fans. But for me, it definitely came off as a definitive swan song for Karrion Kross's tenure in NXT. He's done. That's it. So, I can't help but wonder, what's next? Are we just going to see Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw coming up this week? Or is it going to be a case because see, think about this. Think about this for a second. And you really can't help but think going forward, what exactly is the story arc going to be here? I think I might be able to help you guys out with that story arc too. Because, and I haven't even been marinating on it that long. This is instant freestyle. So just work with me. It's a little bit rough around the edges, but I think some of you guys can see the points that I'm making, and you might be able to fine tune it even better, right? But think about this. Consider this. Remember in storyline what Karrion Kross had said in regards to him holding on to that NXT championship. And you had Samoa Joe, William Regal, that were questioning, hey, why are you over there on that show? Why the hell you going over there doing this? Why are you over there doing that? Y'all remember what Karrion Kross had said to them, essentially? He said by him having that NXT World Heavyweight Championship, that basically it gave him the right, it gave him the privilege to do what he want, to do as he please. Remember that? Okay, so now you don't have that NXT championship. So essentially in story, when you think about it, in story, Karrion Kross really has no business showing up on Raw, right? And see, this is where WWE have kind of backed themselves here into a little bit of a corner, because if you're really paying attention to how everything has been laid out with Karrion Kross so far, remember how Raw, on the Raw side of things, how we pretty much had got introduced to Karrion Kross. We had got the video packages. Remember that? We got the nice video packages that was telling us Karrion Kross making his debut very soon. And then a couple of weeks later, oh, he's going to be making his in-ring debut on Raw coming up next Monday. And you're going, oh, wow, okay, cool. Remember that? I'm sure most of you guys remember that. Now, fast forward a little bit. Think about literally what I just said a few seconds ago about Karrion Kross going between both shows. Regal Joe going, hey, why is this guy showing up over there and all of that when his obligations, his responsibilities is here to the NXT brand. It's here to the GOAT brand. What the hell is going on here? Right? So considering all of those things, I'm most curious to see what's going to happen with Karrion Kross coming up on NXT programming. For all we know, if you're just kind of following it here, you could definitely have Karrion Kross come on out on NXT, and that's officially his swan song. You could essentially have him come out and literally pull a Dave Bautista almost and say, look, the odds were stacked against me. And he could do it in a heel-like fashion, but pretty much say, the odds were stacked against me from the moment that I had became the NXT World Heavyweight Champion. William Regal, he always had a hard-on for me. And just when I was about successful in pushing his ass out the door, his sorry ass goes and manipulates his way into conning Samoa Joe to come on, help him do his dirty work and all that. And so the odds were stacked against me. This was the end result. But at the same time, remember something that Karrion Kross had also alluded to with William Regal. He said, hey, you think Samoa Joe's coming in here? He's being the Superman. He's the white knight in the shiny armor riding that white horse, and he's going to make everything right. Samoa Joe, let's not forget who he is. He's Samoa Joe. He is a killer. He is a machine. He will do whatever is necessary. It's almost like you could say William Regal essentially forgot all of the heinous, despicable things, mind you, that William Regal had saw with Samoa Joe when he first came in there to NXT and all that. That's a lot of faith. So Samoa Joe, for all we know, it may look as though Samoa Joe is the ultimate babyface and all of that good stuff, but the seeds that WWE, I honestly feel brilliantly had planted in there, what all Samoa Joe did in storyline is a great setup to eventually, okay, let me really be real for a second and just take off this mask, because I need to let you guys know how it really is. It could be one of the, in storylines, it could be one of the biggest swerves that's going on there. Samoa Joe could be the true threat, and then meanwhile, Karrion Kross, nah, Regal, y'all want to do me like this? Fans want to do me? You know what? Screw you all. I'm out of here. And then at that point, if you want, you either have Karrion Kross off TV for a little bit, or honestly, look, you've already pretty much got him on Raw. I think at this point, once he quits on NXT, you let that shit play out. Hopefully we don't see Karrion Kross. If WWE is smart, you don't have Karrion Kross on Monday Night Raw. You just don't. We've already seen him a few times with that NXT Championship on Raw, right? Even though he hasn't defended it on Raw, we've seen him enough times already with that title. No. Let him be off TV for Monday night. Let everything play out on Tuesday. And then afterwards, if you want to have him follow up on the next Raw, great. And you can just patch all of that up with a simple Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce. They worked out a deal with William Regal since Karrion Kross was no longer interested in fighting for the gold brand. He is, despite the fact that he's no longer the NXT champion, he is definitely a lock-in for the Raw brand. He will be on the Raw brand from here on out. And of course, whenever they get ready to do that whole draft thing, it makes all the sense in the world to maybe say something along the lines of Karrion Kross is off the books, because considering when he was acquired, you feel where I'm coming from, you could definitely kind of go in that direction. So definitely a lot to consider there with the whole Karrion Kross, Samoa Joe angle and all that. I know a lot of people are probably going to be looking at this Karrion Kross defeat, and they're probably saying to themselves, you know, what the fuck, man? Especially if you're a hardcore Karrion Kross fan and all that. Now, look, Karrion Kross's best days in the WWE are still ahead of the young man, and he's just getting started. He is just getting started. I don't look at what went down tonight as any sign of a burial whatsoever. The main roster needs a guy like Kross right now. It does. It truly needs a guy like Karrion Kross right now. It needs that bona fide, man, you just kick ass, Magusto, right? But Machismo, it needs that right now. It needs that badass, big guy, killer instinct looking, he's gonna freaking have you for breakfast, right? It needs a guy like Karrion Kross right now on the main roster. I would love to see Karrion Kross continue to be involved with NXT, but, you know, we've seen how this has played out over the years. Yeah, hey, wishful thinking though, right? So, great match too, by the way. Again, we'll talk more about the matches. I'll definitely go over. I'm just giving you guys instant thoughts, like just the bullet points. I'm gonna give you guys just instant thoughts off the top of my head about some of the action that went down with the pay-per-view. Immediate thoughts. Hey, by the way, for that CWC crowd, I love the reactions from them. They really have brought the energy tonight. Was really, really feeling it. And let me tell you something. I have had such a hectic week with X amount of shows that we've put out there for you guys. And I'm not even at 100%, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm still dealing with a little bit of I don't know if it's a cold. I don't believe it's COVID because I don't have any of those kind of. I've been checking my temperature and all of that. But I don't think it's anything COVID related. I think, I don't know, something in the air, but I haven't been feeling quite at 100%. And honestly, I think just the schedule that I've had this week between the AWESOMECON panel, doing all the other shows, and I'm not complaining. I love it. I love when I'm this busy because it basically, keeps me so active in front of you guys, continuing to give you guys great content and all of that good stuff. So I love it. By the way, sound off. Let me know what you had thought about that panel because I did make it available for you guys earlier this afternoon. We had made it be available on all the outlets, actually. I made sure we had streamed it on all the outlets. But if you want to ask me off the break, where do you need to show, if you were going to show love to it, which platform should you be showing the most love to? Definitely show it the most love on YouTube, for sure. Definitely show it the most love on YouTube. And thank you in advance for that. So we talked about that. By the way, I got to give mad props to Walter Dragunov. That really was for me. I know some of you guys are probably reading the title of this episode, and I'm not budging on that. I am not budging on that. And look, full disclosure, I do not watch NXT UK on a weekly basis. I do not. I couldn't even tell you who all is over there. I have a little bit of an idea. I can throw a couple of names out there, but to the point where I know it like I know my NXT. No, sadly, I am not there. I am not there. But the one thing that I've always kept tabs on in regards to NXT UK, I've always kept tabs on Walter, and I've always kept tabs on Dragunov. And man, let me tell you something. Them boys tonight, they put on a freaking clinic. They put on a freaking clinic. I love matches like that. You guys have no idea. It just reminds me so much of the old school nitty gritty type of professional wrestling that you just don't get anymore. You do not get anymore. Yeah, it reminds me of that time period where no, we're still going out there and we're still hurting each other. We're still fucking each other up. We're literally twisting arms and all of that good shit before we got to that era of, wait a minute, why are we legit hurting ourselves here? We can just kind of pretend and still make a lot of good money and all that good jazz. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Okay, so let's do it, right? Nice, good throwback to those yesteryears in wrestling. And when I say throwback, I mean, I'm talking about definitely before the 70s. I mean, it had a nice, 'cause once in a while, I'll watch like some old school stuff from, like the 50s and shit. So it definitely kind of had that kind of vibe to it, what Dragunov and Walter did tonight. One of the most intense physical encounters I have seen in quite some time. And look, not for nothing, I've seen a decent amount of Walter's matches. It's so funny too, because I was talking to a new associate of mine that I had bumped into at AWESOMECON and all that, and we got on the subject of Walter, and he told me straight up, he said, dude, my co-hosts, they would seriously like to debate you about Walter because they are very, very passionate about Walter. They don't give a damn about Walter. They can't stand Walter. And I'm like, really? Like, yeah, they can't stand Walter. I'm like, Walter's the fucking man. He's the beast. What, how can you not like Walter? What the hell, right? And so we were kind of going back and forth a little bit about Walter and everything. But man, what an impressive title reign that was too. He clocked in definitely over 800 days. I can't remember the exact number right now. It sounded like it was somewhere between 820 to like maybe 833. It was like somewhere around that range. Very, very impressive. From what I understand, from what some fans have been chatting me up about in regards to NXT UK, and definitely not echoed when you were watching the NXT Takeover show tonight. But from what I personally understand, talking to some fans of the NXT UK product, they pretty much told me straight up, look, Walter's beast. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. He's the fucking man. But it's gotten to a point where he has pretty much steamrolled through everybody. There's really not much else for him to do except either come to NXT in the US, or he gets moved up to one of the flagship shows in SmackDown or Raw. It's like he's pretty much done. And it was almost unanimous whenever. And here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part. The people that I was talking to that watch NXT UK on a regular basis, these were people that don't even interact, as far as I know, with one another. So these were just separate conversations, and I pretty much was just getting the same thing, no matter how it was phrased. I was getting the same thing, which was, Walter's good, he's solid, but yeah, it's time to go in a different direction here. It's time to shake it up a little bit in NXT UK. So the fact that had went down tonight, most intense physical matchup I have seen, and definitely when I think about match of the year candidates, trust me, I have been keeping a nice little notepad on the computer or tablet, and I've just been jotting down dates of certain matches. And this match tonight between Walter and Dragunov, definitely at the very top of the list. I'm not quite ready to just crown it number one, but it's definitely, for the time being, if I were to make a top 10 list, yeah, it's somewhere in that. No doubt about it. It's somewhere in between that. So, fantastic matchup right there. So, NXT UK, they get a new shot of adrenaline there, so to speak. And then you think about the more NXT UK representation that we got here tonight. Raquel, Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, fantastic women's matchup they had. I was a little bit bummed out, just to a certain degree, but I was a little bit bummed out that we didn't get more women representation on NXT's Takeover tonight. I wanted so much more than just Raquel, and because I honestly did not know about the entire card until maybe 10 minutes before. That sounds weird, right? Considering we were here on the show on Wednesday, and I went over the matches at the time. I gave my predictions and all of that, but I truly was under the impression there was maybe going to be 2 more matches that were going to be added, at least 2 more matches, or maybe something as far as the women go was going to happen during the pre-show. But nothing had went down with the women during the pre-show, and again, that was the only women's match that we got. Definitely great psychology that they had laid out in that women's match between Dakota Kai and Gonzalez. I love that Dakota Kai had the storytelling that was going on in there. She had a few tricks up her sleeve that Raquel wasn't quite prepared for there, but eventually Raquel Gonzalez conquered there, right? By the way, was that new music that Raquel was rocking tonight? Because it sounds relatively new to me, and it sounds completely different from what I've been hearing of hers these past couple of weeks. If that's the same theme that she's always pushed, y'all got to forgive me in advance. Maybe I need to crank up the TV a little bit more when my NXT is on, because typically when NXT is on, I got the volume down to a certain degree, which brings me to another point. The commentators tonight, Great job. Wade Barrett. I still don't know the name of that one guy. You guys got to forgive me. His name will come to me when I least expect it. But the fact that I can't remember his name, that should signal something to you guys. And I watch NXT on a weekly basis. That should signal something to you guys that I can't remember his name. And if you can't read in between the lines, look, I'll be honest with you. I appreciate Wade Barrett. I love Beth Phoenix. She continues to do a phenomenal job. By the way, one interesting observation in regards to Beth Phoenix's commentating tonight. I don't know if everything was okay at home. That's none of our business. If there's something that she wants to say publicly to the fans and all that, again, that's her business. I don't know if it was maybe the jet lag. I don't know what it was, but she was quiet for most of this pay-per-view. I don't know if you guys had peeped that out, but she was quiet for most of the pay-per-view. Yeah, she had a couple of spots here and there, but she wasn't her usual, okay, this is my opening, I'm getting into this. For all we know, maybe she just had really enjoyed some of the wrestling action that she saw, and she was heavily invested, and that's why she wasn't talking as much, for all we know. But I've seen enough of Beth Phoenix on hand when it comes to these takeovers and the TV shows. Way less Beth Phoenix that we had got on this night. Again, I don't know if you guys had peeped that out. If you noticed it, sound off, let me know. But the guy in the middle there between them, I mean, he's okay. And I'm not comparing him to, Mamma Mia, freaking God. That's what happens when you haven't seen him in a good minute. Damn. I'm blanking out on his name as we speak. Damn, that's fucked up, ain't it? Mamma Mia. His name will come to me in a hot sec. Mamma Mia, Mauro Ranallo. There you go. See, I knew I was going to remember eventually. But, there's no comparing to Mauro. Mauro is in a tier of his own. Next, honestly, I miss Nigel McGuinness. I'll take Nigel McGuinness any day over that guy. Yeah. That guy I'm talking about whose name I can't remember. I'll take Nigel McGuinness any day over. They just clicked better. They really did. They just, between Nigel and Beth, they just seemed to had really clicked there for the time that they were working together. And then the fact that you had Mauro in there as well. I mean, they all just really seemed to click. But yeah, the new guy just, he has his moments, but nothing that is, wow, that was very impressionable. That was very, wow, okay. Hey, great one zinger there. Nothing. If I honestly have to look at all the commentators, with the exception of 205 and NXT UK, with the exception of those, because I don't watch those on a consistent basis, just dealing with the shows that I normally watch, I gotta say, if I'm gonna pick you, odd man out, I gotta go with that guy. It's like, go sit out, you're good. But yeah, good overall, pretty good. Some other matches. What do we got? The Cameron Grimes LA Knight match. Good shit right there. Cameron Grimes really rising to the occasion. I guess it was kind of one of those deals where since Cameron Grimes and LA Knight were going out there to open up the show, they really wanted to make sure that they were setting the tone for the fans, getting them nice and powered up, getting them nice and energized and everything. They went out there and put on a pretty damn classic matchup, I gotta say. Yeah, look, not for nothing. Some of the stuff that they've done on NXT programming, has it been a little bit hokey dokey? Has it been a little bit silly and all that? Yeah, it has. And the fact that Cameron Grimes had came out with the victory, man, I so botched that one because when I was offering predictions, and I believe I had got 3 out of 5 correct. 3 out of 5. Can't include the pre-show because at the time we were offering match predictions, the pre-show match wasn't even announced yet. But Cameron Grimes, the way I had called that one, I said, nah, LA Knight, let's make things interesting. Ted DiBiase becomes LA Knight's butler. there you go. We got a little bit more, couple of weeks there of storyline slash beef hostility there between Cameron Grimes, LA Knight. How's the stakes going to be upped even more right here now that LA Knight has Ted DiBiase as his butler? So I thought for sure that was the direction that we were going to be going in. But the fact that, no, Cameron Grimes wins. And not only does Cameron Grimes win, but he also gets the $1 Million Championship as well, because the $1 Million Championship was on the line. Like, whoa. Okay, but no, I got to take my hat off to Cameron Grimes and LA Knight. They just, and definitely LA Knight too. You know, not for nothing. I remember when LA Knight had first signed with WWE, there was a lot of moaning and groaning that was going on. Because at that point in time, people just, for whatever respected reason, they did not care for LA Knight / Eli Drake. They did not care for him. Man, I've been checking out his work since Impact Wrestling. Loved it. I caught the tail end of his run in the NWA. I ate that shit up. I looked at him, and as far as I was concerned, and that's the thing that just was a little bit head-scratching early on as he was making his way to the WWE. That was the thing that was a little bit head-scratching, which is because it's amazing to now see people that are ranting and raving on LA Knight. But when you really take a step back, you think about it, this has been the same LA Knight / Eli Drake from the Impact Wrestling, from the NWA, from you name whatever other promotion. He hasn't done anything differently. He's still going in there with the same swag, same character. Everything is still the same. So why now is everybody now giving him his flowers? I just don't understand that. It's kind of baffling to me. It almost kind of feels as though people have quietly, those that were very, very critical of him, it's now, okay, we're just going to jump on this bandwagon now because everybody else is like, nah. See right through that. No. But very impressed with him, you know, to the point, I think we all could be in agreement. A guy like LA Knight would have been phenomenal in the Attitude Era. Now, look, I'm not saying that he would have been your Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or, you know, next Steve Austin. I'm not saying he would have been a world heavyweight champion during the Attitude Era. I'm not saying that. Please don't put words in my mouth. What I am saying, though, is when you think about that whole Attitude Era, you go back to the Monday Night Wars and everything, man, larger than life personality that LA Knight possesses, definitely as far as comedic timing and everything, you could have done some pretty gold segments with him back in the day. No doubt about it. There's no fucking doubt about it. So sometimes, I don't know how it is for you all, but sometimes when I watch LA Knight, I kind of feel as though I'm in that Attitude / Monday Night Wars capsule when I'm looking at him. 38 years old, by the way. LA Knight / Eli Drake. 38 years old. Doesn't look like it, does he? Doesn't look like it. My man looks like he found a fountain of youth. And it's pretty much been doing him good. I would definitely love to see him do something on the main roster sometime in the very near future. I seriously would. I hope that the trigger gets pulled on him and that ultimately we could, you know, maybe see him as a world champion. But even if that were not to happen, just to see him get promoted to either SmackDown or Raw, man, I'd be solid with that. Man, whether he's a US champion or Intercontinental champion, that's good. I mean, you definitely can see him being multi-time tag champion as well. I mean, you got some interesting matchups that you could do there too. Shit, you could definitely, if you wanted to, go in the direction of Robert Roode and LA Knight. Or how about LA Knight and AJ Styles? There's something that's kind of, you know, Vic Joseph, that's his name, Vic Joseph, NXT. That's the announcer I was thinking about earlier. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, Vic Joseph. Yeah, nothing memorable, nothing really impressionable. that he gives me on a weekly basis. And I'm not being harsh. I think anybody would definitely agree with that. And if you had to pick last man out, I'm pretty sure majority would definitely say, nah, Vic, you're pretty much out. Seeing the bookend to the feud of Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly, look, fantastic match, without a shadow of doubt. Fantastic match. But the finish to that match, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have the fans so heavily invested into a feud of great significance such as this, dub it the way that you dub it, all throughout social media, your whole media coverage. You can't just put all of that investment and time and energy into building up this match. Have a great match, but do the type of a poor finish that you do. Honestly, I believe in my heart of hearts, if that poor finish did not go down the way that it did, and it just continued to be a pretty competitive matchup, seriously, who's going to get the best of who here? If it just would have continued to go on like that, and the end result was still Kyle O'Reilly defeating Adam Cole, I don't think the majority of fans on social media would have shitted on it. I don't think the majority of the fans in attendance would have shitted on it. So marinate on that. We'll talk a lot more about that matchup, but the feud's over here. So what happens next? Some people felt that Kyle O'Reilly really needed this. But then you had others that felt, well, if Adam Cole doesn't get this, then surely it means he's on his way out the door from the WWE, and maybe he's going to go be a free agent. Maybe he's possibly going to go work for AEW. And there's so much speculation that's floating around there, and look, I get it. Trust me, I get it. That type of speculation talk, it's great because it gets people talking. It gets their gears in motion. It has a lot of people feel very opinionated on what they think is going to happen with their favorite wrestler. It gets them in a position where they feel, well, I think they should do. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we got to cut through all of that. And here on this night, we just got to say to ourselves, okay, well, we don't know Adam Cole. We don't even know his woman, Britt Baker. We don't know any of these people. And even if we did know them, man, they probably not going to tell us what the hell is going on, what their next move is going to be or whatnot. The best thing we can do is just quietly sit on our hands, wait, see how everything is going to pan out. Look, if you were to ask me straight up, would I love to continue to see Adam Cole in the WWE? Hands down, yes, but at the same time, I have concerns about Adam Cole staying with the WWE. More specifically, okay, number one, what's next for Adam Cole? Because it seems as though you've done just about any and everything that you can with the man in NXT. It's time for a new chapter. So if he's willing, okay, plug and play SmackDown or Raw. But then even at that, how do you make sure that is translated over to one of those two shows? Everything, the blueprint, just everything in regards to NXT pretty much remains intact with the man when he goes over to one of those shows, and you continue to build off of that. I almost look at it no different than not really a Rubik's Cube, because a person can easily, once you're done with the Rubik's Cube and you're so close and your buddy taps you on the shoulder and says, let me take a crack at it, and you give it to them, and man, they can pretty much fuck it up if they don't know what they're doing, right? So how about building blocks, like maybe Jenga? You build it up to a certain point, you take out a piece just to see how everything else holds up composition-wise. And then you pretty much go, all right, tag, you're it, buddy. Get in there. And you pretty much do it like that. And you're moving a couple of pieces around, but the overall composition, you're still trying to do your best to have it be in place, make sure it's still banging and all that. That's how you kind of got to look at what you're doing here with some of these guys that you're moving up from the Performance Center to NXT, and you're doing this whole plug and play with them in general, right? So, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a little bit concerned about Adam Cole on the main shows. I don't think anybody, look, phenomenal matchups for him on either one of those shows. Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's there. But again, you just can't help but, and history has sadly shown us that with some of these, with the exception of a few, NXT call-ups, we've seen quite a few that have been flops, sadly. So y'all got to forgive me if I'm a little bit hesitant there, but that's kind of, it is what it is. So Kyle O'Reilly getting the dub, seeing the fans turn on him the way that they did, and you notice throughout that whole match, even when it came down to the introductions and all that, Kyle O'Reilly, he got a couple of boos here and there. It was pretty obvious that crowd loved them some Adam Cole. But the boos for Kyle O'Reilly, it didn't magnify to the point that it did. Then when that finish went down, then it was pretty much, and see, when you do stuff like that, sometimes that could be pretty detrimental. That could be pretty detrimental to a character's development, especially if you've already got this blueprint. You're trying to do your best to stick to it, and you think you got everything, but then the fans, they have a way of being vocal, and now what you're trying to do has pretty much gotten shaken up. Now you got to pretty much pull an audible there. Yeah, just kind of crazy what's going on there with that one. So we talked about those. I don't think, I'm just looking at the rest of the matches here. I feel like I'm missing a match, but no. And I'm actually looking at the card here. Yeah, we got to actually get into the results for NXT Takeover, but I kind of feel as though I'm missing a match. I know there was the pre-show matchup. That's not the one I'm talking about. Bear with me a second here. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Grand total. There was only, including the pre-show, there was only 6 matches. So yeah, we don't already, I told you guys I wanted to just kind of give you guys a nice overview, and then we can pretty much go right into the matches and all that. And then pretty much, now that we're going to officially go into the results, thoughts on how the match was laid out and all that, we'll pretty much be in and out, and we'll probably have us most likely about an hour of a post show, maybe about an hour, 10 minutes. So yeah, let's go ahead. And hey, by the way, you guys been enjoying yourselves so far. Please do me a huge favor. If you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. When you do that, you really help us out big time, as it helps put more eyeballs on the channel, puts more eyeballs on the content. Not to mention, when you subscribe, automatically puts you in a position where you can engage with me and our audience, as most of the content we're putting out here for the time being is going to be subscribers only interaction. There's no paywall, nothing like that. As soon as you subscribe, you're pretty much in. You're part of the club. So anybody that subscribes, you'll see your name and all that pop up. I'll definitely give you acknowledgement and all that good stuff. So pre-show matchup, Holland defeating Trey Baxter via pinfall. This was your pre-show for NXT Takeover 36. 1 minute, 45 seconds. Look, just straight up squash. That's all it was. It is what it is. Straight up squash match. Cameron Grimes taking on LA Knight. Again, Cameron Grimes defeating Ted DiBiase. I got to say, that was one fine-ass attire that Cameron Grimes wore to the ring. I love seeing him come out there with the Butler outfit, right? But you got Ted DiBiase, who comes out there with him, has the trash can, and Ted DiBiase's telling him to dump that Butler outfit in the trash can, and he's stripping it off. And as he's stripping it off, you see that he's pushing $1 Million Man inspired trunks and boots and all of that. It was just flashy, very glittery and all that. Loved it. I freaking love that. Then to see, who was it, LA Knight come out pretty mad that Cameron Grimes threw his Butler outfit in the trash can, but he's talking mad trash to Ted DiBiase. That's all right, because this is going to be your uniform soon, Pops, is pretty much his whole message to the WWE Hall of Famer. So love that tone that was set there. Very charismatic, energetic matchup. One sweet ass insane spot that went down in this match. There was a back, and I believe LA Knight had connected with this. LA Knight had connected with an insane back moonsault suplex on Cameron Grimes. I know that sounds, when you hear that, you're like, wait, what? Yes, it was a insane back moonsault suplex from the top rope, or at least the middle rope. And when you see the way this was laid out, you just go, holy shit. Great spot. I mean, that was a great freaking spot, man. Then from there, there was the $1 Million Dream that was applied by Grimes. Knight manages to counter. He gets himself a roll-up in the process. Looked like it's about to be a 3 count, but nope, ended up being a near fall. As from there, Cameron Grimes managed to actually still have the $1 Million Dream hold still applied, despite the fact LA Knight was able to use Grimes' momentum and pretty much try to get the roll up that way and hopefully get the 3 count to escape easily there with the victory. But no. So once all of that had went down, where Cameron Grimes was still holding on there tight with that $1 Million Dream, LA Knight somehow he manages to get out of that hold. And from there, he's pretty frustrated. At this point, Cameron Grimes, his energy is pretty spent because he's had that submission hold on Knight for a good minute. So he's pretty much physically exhausted. LA Knight, as he gets out, he's a bit exhausted, but he has enough energy to try to go reach for his $1 Million championship. He's ready to do some foul shit with that in the ring there. Referee, she ain't having any of it. She's like, no. And then you've got Ted DiBiase, who manages to catch the title, because the referee pretty much, I won't say she either tossed it or Ted DiBiase pretty much had grabbed it or something. It was kind of one of those type of deals. But as the referee had ended up taking the title, Ted DiBiase just cold punches the hell out of LA Knight. And at that point, you just couldn't help but say to yourself, wait a minute here. And it was pretty much established that the referee saw this act committed by Ted DiBiase. So if there was ever a time to go, game over, this is it. I mean, look, we've played enough video games. When you die, right, that's it. Game is over. But for whatever respected reason, LA Knight, I don't know. I guess he had got a one-up. I guess he got a free man. He got a free life. I don't know what the hell that was about. But, at this point, the referee is now yelling at Ted DiBiase, hey, you can't do that. What's wrong with you? You can't do that. Don't do that. What's wrong with you? So as that is all happening, yeah, now it's coming back to me. Now it's kind of coming back to me. That championship, that $1 Million championship, now is coming back to me because the referee, at this point, the championship somehow gets thrown back in. I think Ted DiBiase actually threw it back in, and that pretty much was the nice setup there where the referee got distracted. Meanwhile, $1 Million Man, he applies the $1 Million Dream onto LA Knight. Nice, just nice and tight. I missed that $1 Million Dream hold. Nobody does it better than the original, baby. Nobody does it better than the original. After he's done, he pretty much rolls LA Knight into the ring. Cameron Grimes connects with the cave-in. 1, 2, 3. new $1 million champion in Cameron Grimes. It's good shit. Good shit. Good shit how they pretty much laid that match out. Oh, by the way, you know what? Let me turn this on here. Bear with me a second here. Let me turn this on here. All right. So hang on. Can we stay with that? Yeah, let's stay with that. All right. So our next matchup, Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez. Good physical matchup. I love the fact that Dakota Kai, the way she was building this matchup, the psychology she had was using her speed, using her wits, trying to do everything she could to get Raquel Gonzalez pissed off, because she knew that when Raquel is pissed, she's pretty much just gonna be like Juggernaut, just come charging at your ass full speed ahead. And that's exactly the game. And, you know, for a minute there, Dakota was just owning Raquel's ass on that standpoint, psychology-wise. But then kind of seemed as though as the match progressed, Gonzalez controlled her temperament, and pretty much the rest was banging. This whole match, I loved it. There's just everything about this match was banging. Dakota Kai connecting with a running boot, but it gets countered by Gonzalez's Chinkara bomb from the top rope to pick up the victory there. Nice finish to that. That was pretty good. Nice, good, definitive stamp too in regards to the Dakota Kai Gonzalez feud. I mean, just when you thought that, maybe we'll get to see these two girls do a little something down the road. No. After this was all said and done, Raquel Gonzalez wasn't even able to celebrate that long when we hear somebody's music play. And look, it's okay. If you don't watch the NXT UK product on a consistent basis, my friends, you are not alone. We are all in the same boat together. We are in the same boat together. Did you hear the music? You're wondering, who is it? Who is it that's about to come out here? And we find out that it's NXT UK's Kaylee Ray who pops up. Now, look, I've seen a bunch of Kaylee Ray stuff on the independent circuit and everything, so I know what she's capable of, and she is fucking badass. She is a fucking beast. She was previously, just kind of get some of you guys caught up to speed, and sadly it's kind of one of those cases where I kind of caught the tail end of her run, but she was previously the longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion, former 3-time ICW Women's Champion as well. She ended up losing the NXT UK Championship. I can't think of the woman's name right now, but she lost the championship to that new Japanese wrestler that WWE had got a hold of. Man, I think they had got a hold of her. I think they had got a hold of her like maybe last year or something like that. Her name almost escapes me right now, and I'm actually looking in my show notes here. Miko Satomura. Yeah, Miko Satomura. Wow, I thought she had signed like maybe a year ago, but it looks like she had got that championship off of Kylie Ray's hands June. It was June on an episode of NXT UK. For those of you that might be a little bit curious, yeah, she actually signed with the WWE. I'm looking here. I was right. No, I was right. Yeah, she signed in 2020. It was late 2020 when she had signed to the WWE. So, like I said, I saw a little bit of her stuff. Kylie Ray, that is. You guys are in for a treat. She's pretty fucking good. You just kind of feel, though, that with the initial reactions that the crowd had gave Kylie Ray, that and guys, I'm not saying Kylie Ray. We're not talking about Smiley Kylie Ray that's going to be part of NWA Empower and all that. We're not talking about. No, we're talking about. We're talking about Kaylee Ray. Okay, Kaylee Ray. Sometimes you can get a little bit twisted up and get your wires crossed there. No, we're talking about Kaylee Ray, not Kylie Ray, not Kylie Ray. Kaylee Ray. That's who we're talking about. It was kind of interesting seeing the crowd kind of, who is that? But then eventually, after like several seconds, you had a couple of people that started chanting for Kaylee Ray. You can't help but wonder if maybe some of those people were plants or whatnot. Wishful thinking right there. But yeah, it seems that Raquel Gonzalez, that's pretty much going to be her next feud, as the way the commentators pretty much dubbed Kaylee Ray in NXT. Okay, she's officially part of NXT now. Okay, all right, cool. So we'll see how all of that pans out. Next matchup though, let's go ahead. Let's keep rocking and rolling here. Let's see how this plays here. There we go. So next matchup, Dragunov, Walter. Can't say enough about this matchup. Hard hitting, very physical. If you guys did not watch this match, or maybe you had missed it, because there was actually a follow-up interview with Dragunov after he won the NXT UK Championship. Go out of your way and go check out some stuff on social media. I'm sure it's going to be on Bleacher Report and other stuff, or maybe some exclusive photos and videos on the WWE website. But go check out some stuff with Dragunov post-match. His whole upper body, chest, all of that, it looks like ground chuck. Raw ground chuck. Good God almighty. These two, I mean, chops and slaps everywhere. Back of the head, neck, you name it. They were really going to town on one another. As Jim Ross likes to say, this was a slobber knocker, and it really was a slobber knocker. I don't care if you're working for Impact. I don't care you're working for AEW. I don't give a fuck who you work for. You a fan of all things pro wrestling, you're looking at this matchup and you're just going, damn! And that was literally me many times. And I literally was shouting that. If I wasn't shouting that, I was shouting shit. I mean, this was insane. For those that maybe do not have Peacock, they maybe they can't afford, checking out the WWE right now or whatever, or you happen to have some spare money floating around, and if you were to just pick my brain and be like, if there was one match you could recommend to me to check out for tonight, what's that one match you would recommend I check out from tonight's NXT Takeover? Hands down, this matchup. It's kind of funny because when I just overall for the night, hands down, my number one favorite match out of Takeover 36, Walter Dragunov. My number two is actually Samoa Joe and Karrion Kross. And my number three is actually Cameron Grimes, LA Knight. Now, some of you guys may hear that order and you may say, well, wait a minute. No love for Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole? What's going on with that? I will explain, and I think you'll definitely appreciate some of the valid points that I bring up in regards to that matchup. There's some sweet-ass spots that was going on in this matchup, too. I liked how, at one point, Dragunov had jumped, from, like, the top turnbuckle, and he was looking for a high-risk maneuver, and Walter just freaking, it was like clockwork. It was literally like toast popping out of the damn toaster oven. He just wham, clotheslined the hell out of Dragunov, laid him just right there. And then when Dragunov starts to get up, Walter just wham, spins him silly with another clothesline. Hits that boy so damn hard. Dragunov is doing a damn flip. Insane. There's also a really cool spot earlier in the match there where Dragunov was, I believe, on the top turnbuckle. Again, right? How convenient is this? And Walter just, the way he just smacks this dude. He smacks him on the chest, but the way he smacked him as if he was trying to get rid of a damn fly or something. And it sounded like shots were being fired. And here's the thing when it comes to some of what I see in today's wrestling, and I got to give Walter and Dragunov a lot of credit for this because, one thing that I never really took a step back and just really peeped out in watching these guys fight and all that. By now, especially if you're a fan of UK wrestling, the UK wrestling style is much different than what's going on in North America and all that. But man, nowadays when you look at American wrestling, there is a lot of thigh slapping that's going on. And I was definitely very observant tonight about all the thigh slapping, all the leg slapping that I saw that was going on. But here we had two men that pretty much were like, you know what, we're gonna do our best to actually limit the fuck out of that whole leg slapping, thigh slapping. Nah, man, we're just gonna go in here. We're just gonna fucking punch, forearm this shit, backhand the hell out, chop the hell out of each other. We're gonna be real technical with this. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if he's already said something about this match on social media, but I would not be surprised if John Bradshaw Layfield looked at this, because as I was watching Walter for a majority of this match, I just couldn't help but think about JBL, Stan Hansen. I just couldn't help but think about those guys and just be like, because for me, growing up on them, man, I loved how physical and intense these guys were. Even Hardcore Holly, another one of my personal all-time favorites. And just how physical, how intense these guys were. And I would imagine that all three of these guys, if they saw this match, were just probably nodding their heads going, yep, that's how you get that shit done. Yep, that's how you do it. Walter, damn impressive. I've heard off and on for a couple of years people going, man, Walter, Samoa Joe, Walter, Brock Lesnar, Walter, and yeah, I'm with you all the way. I see some badass matchups down the road that could be going on with Walter without a shadow of doubt. But that clothesline, you just couldn't help but feel for poor Dragunov. It was funny too because I was watching this with the wifey. She had came home. She had brought some dinner and everything, and we're watching it. And she hears the Imperium music come on as Walter's making his entrance, and she goes, "Oh, that almost kind of sounds like the Jaws music." I go, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, good point." I never noticed that before. I'm like, "Yeah, good point." And she's like, "Who is he? Is he supposed to be Ivan Drago or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, he is. He's gonna murder the hell out of this guy too." But I'm rooting for him. She's like, "Oh, who? What's his name?" I'm like, "Dragunov." She sees Dragunov and she's like, that little guy is facing Walter? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. I'm like, trust me. It's like, it's going to be good. You want to watch this. It's like, you really want to watch this. Even she was taken back. She said at the end, when Dragunov had picked up the dub, she said, "Well, all right, little man. Who'd have thought little man would be able to hang in there like that?" I'm like, yeah, they told a really damn good story. Kylie O'Reilly, Adam Cole. This was a great matchup for me. It really was. It was a great matchup for me. But the finish, I alluded to it earlier. Let's break this down for you guys. All right. So O'Reilly comes in there with a roll-up to get the first fall. Now, the way this pretty much was set up, these guys weren't even wrestling for 5 minutes because, remember, the first fall was pretty much a traditional wrestling matchup. This match didn't even go about 5 minutes, and then pretty much the critical moment came where Adam Cole looked for a high-risk maneuver from the top rope. He actually was looking for the Panama Sunrise. Kylie O'Reilly managed to counter it, get a roll-up, boom, boom, boom. First fall. So now you're going, oh, okay. Now what? And second fall, remember, that was a street fight. So at this point, as these guys are brawling, O'Reilly decides he wants to introduce some steel chairs, introduce some kendo sticks, some trash cans, and he's pretty much just, having himself a nice little field day, just throwing all that stuff out there. Takes the fight to Adam Cole. They're brawling for a little bit longer. And then next thing you know, where's my second fall? As a matter of fact, bear with me a second here. Because I kind of lost my notes here. Yeah. And then later on, he tried, Kyle O'Reilly, that is, he tried to go for a top rope maneuver. Adam Cole kicks the living shit out of him, and that pretty much had sent O'Reilly crashing from the top rope, crashing to the apron, crashing to the canvas. And in that whole process, he's favoring the hell out of his ribs. Cole looks at this, sees an opening, he smells blood. So far, the psychology, everything from the start going into the second fall, no issue. Particularly that second fall. I really love the story they laid out there with that second fall, and essentially blatantly telling you how Adam Cole was going to win, because he was going to focus on some ribs. That's how he was going to do it. Okay? Right down to the point, action goes over to the commentators table. Table doesn't get crashed either, right? It doesn't get crashed, but Cole, he tries, but I don't know if that table was supposed to break or what, but he had O'Reilly crash through that. More insult to injury on those ribs. They're brawling around the ring even a little bit longer. They managed to go around to the stage ramp area. They're going a little bit back and forth. O'Reilly gets the best of that encounter over the stage ramp, sends Cole crashing into the guard wall there, so the little plexiglass and all. It was a nice bounce. Great sound effect too, especially if you got a sound bar. It was nice, especially hearing the fans, damn, what happened? Where is he? Is he all right? It was nice hearing all that little chatter that was going on. Action eventually finds his way back into the ring. A chair gets propped up in the corner. I'm trying to remember who had propped it. Maybe it was Cole. I'm not really sure. But as Cole tried to ram Kylie into the corner, O'Reilly, seeing what's about to happen with that steel chair, he's not trying to run into it, so he slides out. Here's the beautiful, brilliant part as he slides out. He's moaning, groaning, as he's favoring his ribs even more. Okay, so I love all of this that's going on. I love the attention to detail that O'Reilly is giving himself when he's on the offense, but definitely when he's on the defense, because he's going, okay, I got to sell these ribs. I'm getting injured here, right? He's been homing in on my ribs for majority of this fall. I gotta home in here. I gotta make sure I'm selling this. So he does a pretty damn good job. Cole ultimately brings in a kendo stick, and they're brawling outside the arena once again. Sends Riley crashing through some chairs inside the ring, as eventually they make their way back inside the ring. They're fighting on the top. Cole sends Riley crashing through the tables, and from there, Cole does the last shot. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now we're even. Now we go into the third fall. Again, it's pretty good right here. Everything's pretty good right here so far. But we're getting to that point where, yeah, that wasn't good, and it just left a nasty, bitter taste in my mouth overall when I think about the matchup. So we go into the third fall. Steel cage. As the steel cage is being lowered, Cole's like, nah, we ain't gonna even wait for that. So he just goes to town on O'Reilly. I mean, he's continuing to home in on the ribs, everything. He's kicking his ass, tossed him out of the ring, beating him up over by the announcer's table, bringing the action back in, and he's just resting up. He's getting himself nice and ready. He's pretty much feeling froggy. He's thinking, I got this. This is money in the bank. No pun intended. This is money in the bank. I got this. This dude's beat. He eventually introduces a pair of handcuffs. And he handcuffs one of O'Reilly's wrists to the ropes. You know, basically between the ropes, kind of like steel cage or whatever. And he's still pretty weakened, is O'Reilly. Cole's talking mad shit. Super kicks him in the face, not once, but twice. Ready to go for that final super kick. What happens? O'Reilly counters. With one hand, mind you, with one hand, one free hand. He manages to counter, gets Cole in a leg submission takedown. Cole probably didn't last but maybe 30 seconds. And then he taps out. Now, you know what was so goddamn infuriating about this finish? And I meant to upload this image too. And I should have done it when we were in the little warm-up phase, when we were kind of doing the pre-show before the actual show. I wonder if I can actually find it real quick for you guys, because otherwise, if I can't find it, because I will actually upload this, so you guys that did not watch the pay-per-view, I will gladly, because I can just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. I can upload it in the software real quick for you guys. But what was so infuriating about this, hang on here, because I think, yes, but can I find, I see one image. I actually see one image, but I don't quite want that one because it was much closer than what I was thinking here. So let me see here. No, I don't think I have a choice. You know, I could, hang on. Can I get away with that one? Nope. So let me go back. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share with you guys an image here. So bear with me here. Because for those of you that did not see the pay-per-view, when you see this, you're going to go, yeah, that wasn't exactly smart. What the hell? Okay, so we got that. And then I'm going to create a new image. And let's just call this Cole. Okay. And let's browse. And let's see, where is it? There it is. Okay. And let's load that up. There you go, folks. There you go. Now, does anybody see the problem with this finish? Just look at that image for a couple of seconds here. You don't need to shout it out, but I'll leave it up for like about 20 seconds. And I apologize to those of you that's only going to be checking out the audio version of this. But, you know, right now, just to describe it for you guys, we've got the lovely referee. I don't know her name, but I know she is the girlfriend of Leon Ruff, who was released by WWE not long ago. And I believe they're engaged, actually, too. She did a phenomenal job refereeing. But, you know, I'm a stickler for detail. Here. And it's not her fault whatsoever. It's not her fault. She has no responsibility for what I'm getting ready to reference here. But whoever was in charge of having this match layout, when O'Reilly put the leg submission hold on Adam Cole was extremely close to the kendo sticks. How close was he there to that kendo stick that you're looking at? He was so close, all he had to do, he could literally just think about it and it's in his hands. And for the love of me, what I did not understand was this guy just has one fucking arm. And great, he's wrapping you in there. Oh, a little update there. Great, he's got one arm, but he's got his legs wrapped around you and everything, but he's not doing so with your arms. He's not doing anything with your arms, Adam Cole. So if you're that fucking close to a kendo stick, gee, I don't know. Why not grab the fucking kendo stick and just go to town on the brother's head? That's how you can get him to get out of that damn hold. Yeah? I would think. I mean, just look at that. That, for me, was ultimate buzzkill. Come on, man. You can't do shit like that. You can't do shit like that. You cannot do a match like that. All this great build-up, all this great storytelling that you're doing, right? All this great storytelling that you're doing. And you pretty much ruined it because of that little attention to detail. I got the most simplest solution, too, on how you could have done a better job cleaning that up. And, okay, O'Reilly is the one that's going to get the dub and all that. I got the most easiest way you could have taken care of that. It's simple. Let Adam Cole get that kendo stick, and he's just whack, 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 all upside O'Reilly's head. You can do that. And O'Reilly, you know, maybe he very briefly lets go of his hold. That has Adam Cole. Okay, he's free. You know, he's trying to regain himself and everything. And at this point, maybe you could have O'Reilly kind of do a little bit of a blade job. He's, you know, gushing blood. He's acting like he's kind of out of it or whatever. And then maybe you could just have Adam Cole, you know, with that kendo stick. You know, he's so frustrated or whatever. He throws that freaking kendo stick and he's acting kind of cocky again, and he starts charging right after O'Reilly. And then if you want to have O'Reilly, psycho boo boo, gotcha, and do whatever. Okay, if you want to maybe go out on that note, that's fine. That's fine. But this just felt very, very deflated. Deflated, I think, is the right word. Very deflated. Was my favorite match. It was actually my favorite match until that finish happened. Not my number one. My number one was still Walter Dragunov. But number two was O'Reilly and Cole. Until that happened. Yeah. I would not be surprised if there were a decent amount of people that saw that same finish that I saw and going, what the fuck? Got to be better than that. Come on, man. Got to be better than that. And the last matchup, Samoa Joe, Karrion Kross. No, there was no Scarlett. It'd be nice if there was Scarlett, but there was no Scarlett at ringside. Two physical beasts just going at it, killing the hell out of each other. Matter of fact, these guys went. You know, there's one thing about this match too. Of all the matches here, this was on the actual card. This was the second shortest match of the card, but it was tied because this match went about 12 minutes, 24 minutes. O'Reilly Cole went over 25 minutes. Dragunov Walter went over 22 minutes. Grimes, LA Knight, over 16 minutes. And yet, when it counted the most, and it was for the NXT Championship, it was about 12 minutes. Good match, though, but damn, you know, it would have been nice to kind of see this at least go close to 20 minutes. Why not? Why not? Would have been good. But nice, good back and forth between Kross, Samoa Joe. Great chemistry between both of these men. The definitive stamp mark put on this match, and Samoa Joe ultimately getting his victory, winning with the muscle buster. Man, this was a good match. This was actually a good match. Trying to give you a little bit more context in regards to this matchup too. I guess we should kind of home in on the final moments of this matchup that pretty much had set up Samoa Joe picking up the victory here. Towards the end, Towards the end, Kross had went up to the top rope, connected with a knee to the face. Only had got him a 2 count. Then overhead belly to belly. That had sent Joe flying, but he gets right back into the game, putting on that coquina clutch. This got countered into the cross jacket choke. So great series of counters that was going on here. Really, really had loved this. But Joe manages to slip out of that cross jacket choke and hits him pretty much with a modified version of the rock bottom. Then connects with the muscle buster. And that had gave Samoa Joe his NXT World Heavyweight Championship. Third time's the charm here, right? 3-time NXT champion. How about that? Fucking badass. Fucking badass. Great match. I mean, this was expected as far as the outcome. Totally down with it. But if there's one thing that just keeps nagging at me, and I think the one thing that keeps nagging at me is the fact that, and I've been alluding to it off and on, is the fact that Karrion Kross just cleanly lost in the middle of the ring there. Just weird. Just weird. Considering what happened with him on Raw, and that got off to a rocky start, and then, okay, now we got the rebound, and then you're seeing what had went down tonight. You're just kind of going, what are we doing here with this guy? Seriously, what are we doing here? Do we even know what we're really doing with this guy here? Very weird. Very, 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 very weird. But still a good match. Still a good match when it's all said and done. So, scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give NXT Takeover a modest, thinking about the match card. Definitely thinking about some of the things I didn't like. Wasn't that many actually, but I would probably give this one a I almost want to go with a 7. Kind of feel like a 7 out of 10. Maybe I'm just thinking if it's, I can't budge any higher. I definitely cannot go any lower. Actually, you know what? Because that Dragunov, I'm going to say 8. I'm going to say 8 out of 10. If it wasn't for Dragunov and Walter, yeah, for sure. I mean, I would just drop that son of a bitch a whole number and it would be a 7. But just thinking about what went down there with Dragunov and Walter, I would definitely give this an 8 out of 10. I actually did a poll too on Twitter. Let's go to that poll real quick here. I want to see what some of the guys had said here. You can vote on Twitter at the RCWR show. So far, 7.1% of folks voted thumbs down. Meanwhile, 92.9% gave the pay-per-view a thumbs up. Gave TakeOver a thumbs up. So good shit right there. Good shit right there. So I'm going to say that's it. Stick a fork in it. We'll call this show DONE done. We got another show in the books, but I'm going to be right back here with you guys Monday night, August 23rd, new RCWR show. As soon as Raw goes off the air, I'm going to be with you guys. We're going to be talking about Fallout from Monday Night Raw. That should be a banging Monday Night Raw too. The Raw after SummerSlam should be a lot of cool surprises, and it should be popping. It should definitely be popping on that episode. So you know how we do it on that Monday night show. We go a little bit all over the place. So tune in for that as soon as Raw goes off the air. Tuesday, I'll be back with you guys. We'll be doing a NWA Power Reaction Edition episode. Wednesday, we're going to be covering Dynamite Fallout. And then going into that weekend, we're also going to be doing, I think we may end up doing a Friday night show. I'm not sure just yet, but most likely not, since I will have work Friday and Saturday. I got a pretty busy work schedule this week, actually, now that I think about it. But I'm going to try to see if we can somehow figure out a way to do a show where maybe we can do it Wednesday. We'll see what happens if there's not that much to talk about on the show except for Dynamite, a little bit NXT. Maybe we can go on that Wednesday show and go over the NWA 73 and Empower card That'd be kind of cool. But then that weekend, we've got NWA Empower, and we'll have NWA 73. So a loaded week that's going to be lined up for you guys. That's going to be coming up. So hopefully, if you haven't done so already, subscribe so you don't miss out on all that great content that's going to be coming your way. And the best part about subscribing, when you subscribe, you will be able to interact with me and everybody else that's part of the community as well. And, you know, it's no paywall or nothing. You just hit the subscribe button and that's it. You're automatically in just like that. Anytime you subscribe, you do a super chat. You know, we got the notification graphics that pop up. I acknowledge you pretty much right there on the spot, you know, all that good stuff. So, yeah, you know, one piece at a time. It's coming along, man. It's been coming along. One more time, check out that AWESOMECON panel that's available right now. You guys will love it. If you haven't checked it out already, been receiving some praise for that. I'm just happy we were able to do it, especially on such short notice in regards to the cancellations and all that. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. And my friends, that is going to do it. Until next go around, I'm wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. And I will see you guys